evening. I want to ask you a question. Are you tired of the public corruption which continues to plague our state?
Yes!
Are you ready to have an attorney general who's going to take on the insiders that are lining their pockets with your money?
Yes!
Are you ready to fight to take back your state government?
Yes!
Well, if you're ready to fight, I'm ready to lead. My name is Erik Wallin, and I want to be your next attorney general. Attorney General, I will form a public corruption task force at the Attorney General's office and make public corruption a priority instead of the last priority as it is now. That task force will have a public corruption hotline. We don't need to leave it to Tim White or to Jim Hummel. We can do it at the Attorney General's office as well as television and radio stations do, and we should be doing that in the Attorney General's office for the good of the people of Rhode Island. As your Attorney General, thank you. As your Attorney General, I will ensure that our communities are safe from the sex offenders and the child predators that lurk in the alleyways and online and prey upon our kids and the law-abiding citizens of our state. I will be tireless in making sure that the loopholes that allow sex offenders to get out and live next to you without you getting noticed are closed. And as your Attorney General, I will be tough on crime, and I will go after the gang violence, which has spread a wave of terrorism across our urban cities and threaten the bordering communities like East Providence and Cranston and others around this state. I have the experience. As a former JAG officer and captain of the United States Air Force, I have prosecuted federal criminal cases. When I came back to Rhode Island, I worked at the Attorney General's office as an in-the-trenches prosecutor, locking up drug dealers, child molesters, and violent felons and gang members. So as your Attorney General, I bring that experience, but more importantly, I have the independence and the courage to stand up to the people who are betraying the trust of the people of Rhode Island at your expense, at your children's expense, and at our parents' expense who are trying to stay in this state in the place that they were born. Rhode Island needs change, and it needs more than just words. It needs a plan. We have a tremendous opportunity in Rhode Island as Republicans. We don't need to run from that name. We need to make sure that we communicate what Republican stands for, and that stands for reform. We are not a group of people who sit out on yachts thinking about how we put the screws to the working people. That's not who Republicans are. Republicans are like you and I. We wake up, we worry about our parents, we worry about whether our streets are safe, whether or not our kids are safe walking to school, whether or not we can keep the roof over our house, keep food on the table, and provide for our children. That's what Republican values are. That's the message we can communicate to the people of Rhode Island, and that's how we'll be successful. Fighting the good fight for all Rhode Islanders, Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike. If you want to help out my campaign, you can go to my website, ericforag.com. I congratulate the East Providence GOP committee. This is a tremendous turnout, and this is the kind of team that we need to make our state and local candidates successful. So thank you very much.